understands the seriousness of cybersecurity, and whether you've got a horror story that you personally are aware of, or maybe another business. Local governments, unfortunately, are not immune to the risks that are facing the cybersecurity world. So, at the league, we hope dearly that you won't find yourself in a spot where you can't access your data, or you can't accept bill pay, or you can't access your financial information. Those are the fears that probably keep some of us up at night. And so we want a resource around solution providers such as VC3 that know your pain, but also know how challenged and resource limited you might be, both financially, but also in the time of day. So we've got two guests joining us today that are with VC3. You'll see Michael Lamastro, who's actually already presented at the League Insurance Conference this last spring. So he's a familiar face to some of you in that regard. But we want to break this grant opportunity down a little bit further for you all to talk about what is available for reimbursement, and then to understand that the league is working with VC3 on applying for, would call it more of a group application. The application, while it's fairly efficient and easy to work through for some of you might just find yourself overwhelmed by it. And that's where, because the league is an eligible recipient itself, we're able to work through a joint application for those that might find that beneficial. So, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you. And I think we've got there we go. Excellent. Well, welcome, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, LWM, and thank you, Wisconsin, for having me. As Zach said, my name is Mike Lamastro. I'm the VP of Business Development for VC3. In my role, I oversee the state of Wisconsin, and I work hand in hand with the league on things like SLCGP and other partnership endeavors. So going to spend a few moments with you today to share some incredible information with you on how the LWM and VC3 have partnered to make this grant process incredibly easy, to take much of the burden off your plate. So we'll move to the next slide there. So as we heard from Troy and the state, this is a rare opportunity. The state's doing an amazing job. They're rock stars for opening this up for you. You are so lucky to have this open up to you. This is amazing stuff. So there's going to be 3.7 million in state and local cybersecurity grant program available. The grant will cover 100% of your costs up to $100K for the first round of funding. So that there are no cost shares or local match requirements for this funding opportunity, as the 10% match, which we heard from Troy, requirement for cycle one of the funding has been waived by FEMA. Funding that municipalities may apply for has to be in by August 15th, and there are two ways to apply for this grant. So there's the traditional way, the state talked about that, Troy talked about that, and then there's two. LWM, they have put some power in the form of resources available to each of you to really take the burden off filing this on your own. So filing this on your behalf is what LWM is seeking to do in our partnership with them. Look, I've overseen this process now in several states, and LWM really has gone above and beyond to be a powerful resource for all of you. I can't understate that enough. You really are fortunate to have LWM on your side for this rare opportunity. Next slide. So services that qualify for 100% of funding. So MFA, that's multi-factor authentication, as you heard Troy touch on that. So this is basically the way your bank checks in with you to make sure you're secure and you're good, using a text, using a token, or an authenticator to verify that it's you. So some interesting stats from Microsoft. 99.9% of account compromise attacks can be blocked through MFA, and 94% of ransomware victims in 2023 that were investigated did not use MFA. So it's MFA, it's MFA, it's MFA all day. And the good news is this service qualifies. The other service that qualifies is MDR. A lot of acronyms in this industry, right? So managed detection and response. That's what MDR stands for. MDR monitors your environment and identifies malicious threats inside your environment before they become a problem. What the heck is MDR? Let's skip all the tech talk. There's lots of acronyms, like I said, lots of tech talk, but long gone are the days of antivirus. Okay. Antivirus works on definitions. If I wear a Mike name tag and I'm through inside your environment, inside your network, antivirus says that's Mike. He's a good guy. He has access to these files and these things. But let's say Zach at the league takes my Mike name tag and he's walking around through your environment. Antivirus, because he has his definition that says Mike, says that that's Mike. Mike's a good guy. He has access to all this stuff, but it's not Mike, it's Zach, and Zach is a malicious actor. So MDR looks for malicious activity. Why is Mike here at these times? Why is he trying to access these folders? Why is his activity up 4,000%? So good MDR solutions, they're human-led. You need people behind it, right? So it's not just set it and forget it. You need humans, real resources, real eyeballs on glass. It's human-led, it's technology-driven, like through CrowdStrike, remotely delivered, and it's monitored 24/7, 365. Not only with a security operations center, but with a true MSSP, real people dedicated to looking over your environment and mitigating those types of things. Next slide. So you heard from the state earlier about this process. You can do and you should do it on your own, but because of LWM, like I stated at the top, you're lucky to live in the state of Wisconsin, where you have these incredible league resources who are willing to do all the legwork for you, because you are all incredibly busy with your towns, your cities, your municipalities. And this deadline is rapidly approaching. So LWM has simplified the application process to make sure that you're not missing out on these incredible dollars that are available to you. So the league, in conjunction with VC3, through our partnership, has made it super easy for you to fill out. So this link right here, if you click on that, all you need to say is, hey, here I am, here's how big I am. You put your name, how many endpoints you have, who you are, and the league will take care of the rest. Next slide. Okay, so for those of you who are technology inclined, this slide is for you. For everyone else, just go fill out the form, right? So I'm giving you permission right now to skip out on the next 4 minutes, but let's talk a little bit more in depth into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of what's being delivered from a technology perspective. So multi-factor authentication, that's email MFA, right? So that's a Microsoft 365 government G3 license. Configure conditional access policies to enforce MFA access to M365 resources. Authenticate via mobile app or alternative methods such as SMS. Desktop MFA, that's everything not email. Okay, so that uses Duo technology, requires users to leverage MFA to actually log into their computers, right? So it's not just the 365 environment, it's logging into their computers. You could use physical tokens there, mobile authentication methods. Sometimes municipalities are going to require a migration into an MFA platform. So the good news there is that projects, this would be a project, and our project service team would be able to assist with you. And yes, those costs of that project would be covered under this grant. Manage detection and response. Okay, that's MDR. Okay, so that includes the EDR portion, which is endpoint detection and response. That's the CrowdStrike, Falcon activity that you heard Troy speak to. Monitoring the servers and the PCs for signs of malicious activity. Why is Mike here at this time? Why is Mike accessing these? Is Mike his activity up 4,000%? It takes automated actions to contain the threats. Okay, so that's the automation, that's the technology, but then it's monitored by a VC3 security team that just does security. Okay, that's all they do all day long. And it alerts the security team responds to that. Real humans, real eyeballs on glass, making sure that your environment is mitigated and there's no cross contamination from endpoint to endpoint. And then also having that 24/7, 365 SOC monitoring, which monitors the environments for malicious activities. And it in turn reports to us as well. So SOC reporting, agents reporting. Next slide. So next steps, at the end of the day, the goal is to keep you safe and secure. And there are two ways to do that. So direct application, work with Wisconsin State Administrative Agency, the SAA, Wisconsin Emergency Management, the Division of Enterprise Technology. Submit your grant applications through eGrants. Or number two, joint application, go to this link, fill it out, and the league takes it from there. The deadline for the joint application is due August 9th. And as we stated a number of times throughout the hour, the deadline is August 15th. Questions?
Michael, there's a number of questions in the chat. The first is a question regarding VC3's arrangement if the municipality has a third-party IT firm. And I suspect that one might be need a little more context or information. So Aaron, you may want to reach out to these folks. There is an email address at the bottom of that slide, christina.drews@vc3.com. Might be best to address that there, unless, Michael, you've got a comment on that one.
Yep. I'm looking through here. For some reason, I can't seem to see it, Zach.
Yeah, the question is, will VC3 be able to work with a municipality that has already a third-party IT firm?
I would say give us a call, speak to Christina Drews. There are ways that we can do that. Every municipality is unique. So we service 1,100 municipalities in the country, and a lot of them have current providers in there. Some of them have their own IT staff. Some of them have nothing. Everybody's a little bit different and everybody's a little bit unique. So it would be more of a deeper dive conversation into some of those aspects.
Great. Another question here is from Judy. VC3 services, are these different than what is offered through CISA? And you might want to break down these acronyms for folks. There is also a requirement as far as the application goes on the cyber hygiene aspect. But Michael, if you could address that question and give some context to what Judy might be asking here.
Yeah, so it's different so some of the technology, the same, right? CrowdStrike, we're using CrowdStrike, right? Those are the products. What's behind the products are the resources to configure these things correctly, so it's blocking everything it needs to block, and it's not causing any slowness inside of the environment. We have those people in-house, those resources, our own MSSP to set those up correctly. But as Troy alluded to having resources, but he also alluded to that this is not set it and forget it. So making sure that those are constantly monitored. And hey, look, if there's a vulnerability with CrowdStrike down the road, VC3 spends a ton of money on R&D. We spend a lot of dollars making sure we have best in breed products. So if we do identify a particular vulnerability with a particular item, or a product like CrowdStrike, we want to be able to swift to be swift and shift on the fly and implement something that is best of breed in the case that there's some kind of vulnerability. So yes, the products are the same or similar, but it's everything else behind that, the resources, the configuration, the R&D to make sure that this is not a set it and forget it and that you're good to go in the future.
Another great question from Nicholas: is the VC3 team CGIS certified?
Yes, we are. Even I am, and I don't touch computers. Background checks, CJIS certified. We have to be.
Luann's got a question regarding the difference between a direct application and a joint application. Do you want to take a stab at that, Michael?
Yeah, so direct application, that's where you're kind of going through that process on the left. You're putting together the package, you're going through those different channels. The joint application, this is through our partnership with the league. You're going to click on this link. You're going to put in a little bit about you, a little bit about your environment, and then we'll be able to build out that application and help you submit that. So we do all the legwork, or the league is going to do a lot of that legwork.
And maybe saying it another way would be, if you feel like you've got this figured out, feel free to pursue the funds on your own. If you've got a trusted resource that you can count on to implement the tools after potentially a grant award, feel free to take that on your own. But if you find yourself completely lost in all the acronyms, the alphabet soup that we find ourselves in government, feel free to fill out the joint application. It doesn't commit you, but it at least engages you in the process. So we can talk with you. We in VC3 can talk to you about what your needs are, and then ultimately include you in that application that would be submitted on your behalf to the state. There was another question regarding costs. Yes, there is a certification on being able to demonstrate that you're willing to fund these beyond the grant process. That's really to tell the state and the feds that you didn't get the money to do it, to keep yourself safe for 2 years and then to drop the services. The goal is to reach those that are in the have-not category here. Troy mentioned that as to why there's such a narrow scope with the initial round of funding. So, that's sort of your best guess, is saying, yeah, we intend to have the grant or to be able to have the budgetary wherewithal to fund those services, but you may not be able to say confidently until your village board or your city council pass your budget. I get that that's not a certainty, but it's sort of your best guess scenario projecting forward. Alicia's got a question regarding fees associated with the joint application. Michael, the joint application comes with technical assistance, and we'll be navigating what that technical assistance looks like, just like if you were working with your own vendor. So there isn't a direct fee. The intent here is, because there's a fee waiver, or sorry, a match waiver this year, that the application would cover all your costs associated with implementing the services for the first 2 years. Michael, is there another way to maybe answer that or give some other color to what they're asking for there?
Are there fees associated with the joint application? That question.
Yep.
So it's a conversation. So it's getting us into a room. We do it all the time. We do it free of charge. We have these conversations. We can break this down for you, and there's no cost associated with that. And as far as tying everything in, as you heard Troy mention, these can be bundled. The window is now until August 15th, and that's for services which run through August of 2026. So we could package that into a contract, into a service delivery that fits that bracket.
Awesome. We've got one more question in there. Pertains to migration of Office 365 or Microsoft 365. And that is, would that include moving from a regular email platform or local ISP, for example, to a .gov branded email in the O365 Gov tenant? That's a really good question that is probably out of scope for this round, but I think it's worth addressing, because down the pike is the demand or the need to change to a .gov email address?
So actually, Zach, the good news here is that would be a part of this. We would get them over to a G3 license. Okay, we would help with the migration because they need to be on a secure .gov G3 platform for the MFA portion of the email. So that project associated with that migration would be covered under this.
Excellent. And Elizabeth's got a few more resources that she's shared in that chat. We've reached the end of our questions for today. There's an email address for Christina Drews, excuse me, in the slide there. You've also got the email address for the Division of Enterprise Technology, who is the overseer of the grant opportunity. So feel free to reach out to them. Happy to take any of the feedback or communication here at the league, either directly to myself or to one of our other league staff members. This recording will be made available on our website. So if you want to go back to another reference, please check out that cybersecurity page. Michael, any parting comments before we end our call today?
The parting comment would be work with the league, work with team. This is like I said, it's a rare opportunity, and to have these funds available for these basic things that every municipality should have is do not miss out on this opportunity. Municipalities have a 75% greater chance of being hacked than an SMB or an individual. And that's because of who you are and what you do. Your government, a lot of these bad actors don't know if you're a city of millions or a village of 100. They just know that you're government and you're a target. So this is a fantastic opportunity. Do not miss out. However you need to get it done, whether it's a direct application, if you have the resources, get after it. You want to go through the joint application process, and you need some helping hands to guide you through this so you don't miss out on this opportunity. The link's there. So the league's here for you. We're here for you. You have a lot of resources. Go get it.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thank you. Appreciate the information today, and feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you, and this is an item that's out of sight, out of mind oftentimes, and we recognize it might be a little overwhelming. So whether you work with VC3 or your own solution provider, just make sure you're giving it some level of priority and attention before it's too late. So thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your time, and have a good rest of your week.